Let's quickly take a look at the hashtag EndSARS protest and developments coming from there. With us in the studio to look into this is a public affairs analyst, Bola Oba. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure, Zoma. Thank you for the opportunity once again.
You're welcome. Now, I'm certain you followed developments between day before yesterday and yesterday with regards to the president's meeting with some of the hashtag protesters and the demands being met, and then the IGP talking about the defunct members of SARS, coming for a debriefing. Would you say that this is a major win for hashtag EndSARS protesters?
Ostensibly, but I want to congratulate the Nigerian millennials, congratulate the millennials and indeed retag them Generation Assertive, but we are also welcoming them to the party. We're welcoming them to the party because ostensibly it does seem that they have won. Because the governments, the Lagos State government engaged with them on about 2 or 3 occasions. The governor, indeed, he went beyond his measure, constitutional measure, to state that he was even going to create a committee that would recompense recompense families of alleged victims of SARS. He traveled to Abuja. The president gave a speech day before yesterday, and yesterday also a panel was set up, and the panel said they've accepted. Fantastic. But that is the way Nigeria works. On paper, they would have won. The pictures are there that they've won. But the nitty-gritty, SARS, there was a nomenclatural change from SARS to SWAT.
No, what the Inspector General of Police is saying, that those that will be members of the SWAT, is not categorically saying that those that were in SARS are moving into being part of the SWAT. He says those that will be members of the SWAT will be debriefed, psychologically examined, they will be trained. But those who were members of SARS, the defunct SARS, will have to be debriefed to know their state psychologically and all of that. So we have to establish this.
And I also have to establish the fact that you are talking to somebody who was born in Nigeria, raised in Nigeria, and has seen pronouncements such as that, as glorious as they may seem, functionally and organically and operationally made a mess of. Where is the psychological department of Nigeria Police?
They are coming up with a new one.
They are coming up with a new one. So they will go and recruit psychologists. Abi? They will go to the best of our teaching hospitals to get psychologists, best of our universities to get psychologists. Where is the fund? Where is the fund for the Nigerian police? You see, we are basically managing a fundamental systemic problem. Fundamental systemic problem. This IGP, like previous IGPs, would play the role for basic PR. But organically, the other department that would replace SARS will still have the challenges within and within the police force and without the police force to contend with.
So it's just like putting new wine in old wineskin?
Thank you very much for the biblical metaphor you have given. But beyond that, I also want to enjoin the youths who have won now on paper to remember that amongst their ranks, there are some of them who are Yahoo. And they too must articulate what the activism as in HACTIVISM, that they have used in the last couple of days to also set up a kind of force that will also mold those ones down.
They are saying that this is the first step. They have mentioned that this is not because they are trying to justify or protect the activities of those involved in cybercrime.
And they must also remember, because we are at it now, they must also remember, anyone watching me this morning, I'm going to be very unpopular for this, and I'm ready to go for it. If you are a youth watching me this morning, if your parents are just left home, go on Google and get the official amount that he or she earns, especially if he or she works in the public sector. If you review the lifestyle of your family, and is inconsistent with the amount that your parent is getting, your father or your mother is the SARS. Operationally, a SARS where he or she works. You know what? It is the Nigerian mentality. We can be pointing at SARS, but you know what? Even Bola Oba, I sometimes question my sanity in this area. Because you know what? We have perfected the art of exploiting the other person in Nigeria to make a living. And I dare challenge any member of the Nigerian middle class. Indeed, it's even worse in our political class. I dare challenge any member of the Nigerian middle class.
Invariably, what you're saying.
So basically, what I'm saying is we need to review beyond the palliative or the cursory that the celebrated children's revolution we just had now, or millennials revolution. They are not children anymore. The millennials, this celebrated millennials revolution, we need to grow on it to review our values.
So you are saying that the protests should continue. Are you saying that?
To be honest with you, they've made their point to the extent to which they have made government to capitulate on this. But I want them to not lose the energy of this protest and transfer it to a terrain that is natural and native to them. That is the digital sphere. Okay. To also engender value review. Because if there is no fundamental value review in this society, the abuses, is it peculiar to SARS? How do we get some errant soldier boys behave? How do we get some errant Navy boys behave?
But you said
how do we get some errant uniformed people behave? Oh, leave that. Go to an average government office in any of the states of the Federation. People come to office looking dapper like this, but with a determination to go home with a particular amount of money. But and you know what they do? They abuse people's mentality and they extort people.
But you mentioned that there's fundamental systemic problems.
Oh, yes, sir.
Obviously, what you mean might be that there's a corruption is at the heart of this. Especially in the force. Now, how do we ensure it's a deep-rooted problem? No, I just said especially.
The people in uniform only get to do it more assertively and more brazenly. But you know what? You know what?
It's in every other part of every other sector.
I still call my wife to say, Iyawo, officially, your salary is 150,000 naira, but they gave you a vehicle. They gave you a vehicle to use that you have to maintain with almost the amount they give you as salary. Something is wrong with us. But because we are living in denial. We are fundamentally a society that is living in denial. How can you call somebody, a local government chairman, on paper he or she is earning around 150 to 200,000 naira. And the lifestyle.
Okay, sticking with the NSAS movement now. How do we handle this matter? The police have, like you said, it's a fundamental systemic problems. The police have changed name from SARS to SWAT. They've changed the tactical team. Yes, you said it's beyond the name change.
Somebody must have watched too much Hollywood production.
But how do we solve this problem?
Aren't we making an attempt to address all of the issues that you are talking about, which is what he is trying to say? We need to solve them. We need to make an attempt to try to solve them if we cannot continue this way.
That is why we have to celebrate these millennials, these youths. That is why we have to celebrate Generation Assertive for at least making us realize that for too long we have been sleeping on our moral duty.
Right.
And you have to give that to them. But fundamentally, they also have to start with a degree of introspection. As some of our members, as some members of our generation also yahooing, as some members of our generation also into kidnapping, as some members of our generation also into cultism, decapitating their head. Where I was born, and we thought we were tough when I was a boy in Mushi, and what the best we could do then was to use fisticuffs and this thing. Now they decapitate their own heads and kick human heads around. Cultism is as infested. I don't know about any other place, but Southwest Nigeria, from Lagos to all the Southwest, cultism, and it's their generation. So they have the creativity. You know what? I was shocked that in less than 48 hours, a particular group of young feminists raised 12 million naira. 12 million in 48 hours. And I was thinking, you know what? if they can raise such an amount and create enterprise empowerment opportunity for themselves, they wouldn't need to be blaming government too much, because such funds with skills that they can be better off from around the world could create value in society and make them relevant.
So this perhaps will be a foundation for every other reform that we are expecting. We'll have to leave the conversation here.
It better be if they don't want to become what my generation has become officially, because we also protested though.
All right, let's leave
Ali must go.
We recall that.
But Ali did not go. Ali ultimately became chairman of the
We have to leave the conversation here now, Agbola, but thank you so much for it.
Right, in the light of all of this now, some analysts have said that the Nigeria police force, the word force should be removed and left at Nigeria police to forestall any mindset about police brutality, and of course to allow people to relate to the police better. Will that work?
To be very honest with you, that has been a cosmetic issue that governments have refused to. Some of us have suggested that the Nigerian Police Service should be used. But let's be very honest, beyond that is the fact that the Police Act, the document that enshrines the operational powers of an average police, allows an average policeman to get away with murder. If you compare it with the Police Act in, say, places like United Kingdom and other jurisdictions that some of us have lived in. You know what? There is a standing committee in the UK. If in the process of operations, a human life is lost in the hands of policemen, there is an independent committee that reviews the factors that must have culminated in the loss of human lives. As we speak, we have the Human Rights Commission, but it does not have that operational or functional privilege to review the activities of policemen that may culminate in the loss of human lives. So as a society, we are fundamentally disrespectful of lives.
So these are the things that should be addressed fundamentally.
Fundamentally. And you know what? Let's also go back to the revolutionaries. We have congratulated them before. And yesterday I was asking myself, which one brutalizes their generation the most? Is it SARS or is it ASU? Some errant members of ASU abuse them emotionally, abuse them sexually, abuse them financially by extorting them, giving some handouts that they must pay for, and I'm still sitting, bring it on. NSAS, you have won. I think it's about time you did end ASU.
And that is why some have established that perhaps this is a foundation for every other thing that will be addressed as it affects the youth or as it affects Nigeria. But to stick to what we are focusing on, which has to do with the NSAS, some are talking about the aspect of building trust with the people. That's the police and the people building trust. And they are talking about opening a line of communication where the police and the people can interface, where the people advise the police on how perhaps they should relate and carry out their duties with the people. I wonder how that will help in building confidence and trust in the police.
It will help tremendously, not only in the police. One of the most prized gifts that President Muhammadu Buhari seemed to have squandered at this juncture for me, which ultimately manifested in the NSAS, the multiple protestations across the Federation. You must remember that this was the president when he came in, that he increased the pump price of fuel and nothing happened. And indeed, it was almost double what people protested for about 3 years before. Now, because that humongous element of trust had been so dissipated, we are where we are now. So the police is just a particular agency of state that galvanized this. The conduct of some errant policemen galvanized this. But if the trust element that this government came into power with has been built upon, you must remember that the backdrop to this protestation was the fact that university students cannot go back to school, pump price increased, tariff increased, notwithstanding the fact that the government is daily telling people that they have told the discos not to review up the price, the tariff for those of us who buy electricity, especially those who charge. We know that they've recalibrated the values of the so it's been increased. So you are sitting there, people will think, okay, the same government is telling us they have considered to this, they have considered to this, they have considered to this, but the millennials are not convinced, and that is why they are still going out. So the element of trust, as you've stated, is important not only from the police, but indeed from governments across the value chain of governance in Nigeria.
What can be done to regain that element of trust?
To be honest with you, this government has set up a panel comprising the human rights, the members of the Human Rights Commission, comprising the police, comprising some youths, comprising members of the Nigerian Bar Association. The seeming independence of that body should just be allowed to be, and that body should be a standing body reviewing the activities of some errant policemen and letting people believe that you can trust an entity that reviews alleged abuses of power in.
All right, let's bring it down to the role of states and state governors. So, because this crime are perpetuated in states, and every governor is like a security officer of the state, ensuring the protection of lives and property. But some have said that because the governors do not wield that authority to perhaps bring the police within their states to book, because the police is controlled from the center. How do we begin to look at perhaps ensuring that state governors have a role at addressing these issues, knowing that the crimes and human rights violations are perpetuated in states? When you look at the RRS, for instance, we see that these people are properly managed according to some persons. You just see them doing their jobs, not harassing anyone. But if we are to look at perhaps states beginning to handle some of these things, are we ripe for that? One. And can we begin to look at addressing this issue state-wise?
I am one who believes in state police. I am one who believes that one of the reasons why you have some elements in SARS abusing their public is because they are culturally, emotionally, and spiritually sometimes, and most times, detached from the area of the operation. Would it not be somewhat incongruous for me to go somewhere in Mushin and behave as though people cannot trace me beyond my generation? But you know what? If you function in an environment where you don't have much affinity with the people, culturally, emotionally, spiritually, you are just there, and protecting your own life is the central issue. So I am one who believes that the policing architecture should be reviewed. Indeed, the incongruity, the incoherence, and the inconsistency in the policing architecture of Nigeria can best be defined by what happened yesterday. Why would the governor of the most powerful state in Nigeria economically, the state that is economically more powerful than some neighboring countries, the GDP of Lagos is more than the GDP of Ghana, but the governor, on matters of simple protestation, had to do what? He flew to Abuja. It speaks a lot to the incongruity of the constitution we have. And you know what? This is a government, another element of trust. This is a government, both at the federal and at the state, that campaigned on devolution of power in 2015 and has refused, even when the party set up a committee to do a nationwide tour and they reported on it. So the element of trust. So if the kids are a bit reluctant to believe this government, there are preponderant instances.
All right, thank you very much,
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be on your side.